Welcome to the Daily Crossing. Today we're going to be talking about the players of the week. Guys, we're going to be bringing you this segment because we believe that there's a lot of important players out there that are doing very meaningful things, and sometimes we don't, get to know them. We don't pay attention. We don't understand a little bit about, the reason why they keep showing up in different places. Some of them you're going to be very familiar with. Some others you probably don't even like. Some others you don't know who they are. The fact of the matter is that the purpose of this conversation is for us to get connected to people that are making a difference out there, whether it's financially, whether it deals with politics, religion. We got to keep rotating, obviously, this as we go along. This is going to be the first one that we are going to be introducing. Given what's going on with the situation in Israel and Gaza, the difficult situation, there really is no easy answers, no easy conversations when it comes to the topic of the recent war scenario that broke out between Israel and Gaza. For a lot of people, this, as you can see from people that are doing all kinds of protesting to burning flags to all through different countries inside the United States. It makes it very clear that this is a very touchy subject. You know what I mean? There are real deep emotions connected to the process. Why? Well, there's real people dying. There's a history that's been around for many years. Not an easy history. Not, like I said, not easy solutions. Very strong, different, opposite perspectives in many cases. But some of the people that are part of this conversation, and there's so many of them, but obviously we want to concentrate on three of them because we want this just to be a brief kind of signaling or highlighting some of the participation that these people, these individuals, have the ability to bring when it comes to the table. Let me start with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is co-founder, one of the founders of the Daily Wire, a remarkable young man. I can go back to, as a matter of fact, deadly with his communication style, capable to really introduce and manage very difficult conversations, just about every aspect. This young man is brilliant, like it or not, whether because there are some people that don't like it. I struggle reading his material because he's extremely right about things that are extremely wrong. You know what I mean? It's like being deadly right about things I sometimes don't even want to look into because it's painful to accept it. But he's that kind of mind. His communication style is fast. He speaks fast. His mind has the ability to process a million issues with accuracy, I may say. A very unique individual. There's somebody that has been part of communication, growing, and when it comes to the audience, the target audience, at this point, very clear that when it came to the situation that broke out immediately after the attack, for the people that crossed the border and was able to successfully attack Israel. And immediately those images about the amount of people that were dying, got killed, being kidnapped, Ben Shapiro immediately took a very clear position. There's not a single person on the planet who actually is doubting where he stands, and he's doing that not just because he's, Jewish, obviously, but there is a deep belief. You can see the conviction that somebody has when it comes to arguing a position. I think he's going to be one of the leading voices during this conversation. And I think that more than anything else, one of those things that you got to pay attention is not only, in one end, how passionate he is about the conversation, but in the other side is the fact that he's very clear about his convictions. I mean, we got to respect people. They have such a clear position. They're able to back it up with tangible information, with tangible proof, with tangible facts. They're not willing to go into a conversation or a debate with anybody. They're willing to take that on. And at this point, it's going to be a leading voice to the point that don't disqualify the possibility that one day, I mean, again, this is a very young man, bright future, very influential. Don't be surprised if one day Ben Shapiro is able to take even make a political choice. You know what I mean? To say, what, if I really want to make that much of a difference, because right now he's making his audience growing, his ability to connect, and the fact that he's creating a media empire also, right? And I'm sure he's weighing in what would be more helpful, would be more significant. Do I continue to grow what I'm doing through the Daily Wire, or do I do something that would be maybe political? Who knows? But whatever he does, he's going to be an incredible force to reckon with. You know, what I mean, this is somebody that is not a lightweight, and will definitely have the ability to bring his perspective. And to be quite honest with you, this is one of those guys that, however difficult it is, you want to listen, because in reality, he truly represents a very specific perspective. And if you want to understand both sides of the aisle and what everybody's saying, what everybody's thinking, this is definitely one of the voices that will give you one of the perspectives with extreme clarity. So that's the one thing that I will tell you about Ben Shapiro. The second person that I want to highlight is Dr. Peterson, Jordan Peterson. Jordan B. Peterson was able to have incredible success through the biblical lectures that he did through YouTube. I mean, over 1 billion views at this point. Incredible impact. Interesting enough, even though this was a biblical lecture that started with Genesis and the beginning of the Bible, throughout the process, you can see an incredible amount of people from the Muslim community that was connecting to his lectures. There was somewhere somehow suggesting, I wish you would do something that will also involve Islam. And you can see Jordan Peterson making an attempt. He had significant conversations with people from the Muslim community, people of significance, you know what I mean, prominent people, people with very strong opinions, you know what I mean, just as a way of reaching out to that environment. Just recently, when this situation between Israel and Hamas happened out of the border between Gaza and Israel, he also came out very strongly about criticizing Hamas and calling them barbarians and things to that nature, meaning that he was taking a position where he wanted to highlight the ugliness of how humanity can very easily go wrong. This is a man that in his book 12 Rules for Life, takes a long time explaining how when people have very strong positions, that they are willing to fight to the point of I'm willing to die for that, right? And obviously, nothing would be stronger than a history of people that feel that they have been unjustly treated, right? For people on one side of the aisle that we very easily call it occupation. For other people on the side of the aisle, they're saying, they don't want us because they make it very clear. Hamas charter makes it very clear. Their charter makes it very clear that their purpose is to make sure that Israel and the Jewish community, the Jewish state, does not exist. Their idea is to eradicate it. So when you have very strong positions, what Peterson was highlighting through 12 Rules for Life was simply saying, listen, this is the reason when you see the darkest moments of humanity is precisely when there is no room for conversation and communication. The problem is, and I want to highlight one of the last videos that he put out there, which is saying why I'm pro-Muslim but anti-Thug, you know, and he's trying to make an argument, but more than anything else, I think he's trying to connect with people, because what he's realizing right now is that unless he takes a clear position that where he's willing to sacrifice one relationship next to the other, because guys, we're not going to be able to make everybody happy. The reality of this conversation is that the emotions are so high, the conversation, the issues are so deeply rooted, it's so strong, there's so much passion connected to this process that no matter what you say, you're not going to make everybody happy. At best, what you're going to do is you're going to aggravate everybody by saying, hey, listen, at least I respect your clear position. So he still is trying to make an honest attempt. And I don't think that honest attempt is being appreciated or is being respected to the point of saying, listen, I know that you don't want to, because you don't want to just take a position where you are 100% in favor of one or the other. So he's looking for the things that one group is doing right, and is also highlighting the things that one group is doing wrong, and then it's moving on to the next group and is also doing the same. In all fairness, Peterson has been as critical to the mistakes of Hamas as much as he has been critical to the mistakes of the Israeli government, and also about even religious positions, being the fact that he has been deeply rooted or getting a lot more involved with that conversation. I mean, in all fairness, he have really has made an effort to try to be as fair as possible. But the problem is that in the process of saying, yeah, this is good about you, this is bad about you, this is good about you, this is bad about you, it comes across as not taking a clear position. By not taking a clear position, he's being attacked from just about every angle. I hope, if nothing else, that through this message, my only recommendation is, just make sure that your position is clearer for the average person, because for a lot of people that are not willing to listen to the whole video, to the whole conversation, to your whole explanation, because sometimes you will take a long time to unpack a specific idea or something that you want to explain to people, and by the time somebody is already halfway through the conversation, they jumping out of that explanation, they probably not listening to, maybe you're going to have to find ways in a shorter, more effective way, just to say, here's where I stand about this. Because the fact of the matter is that right now, this is somebody that is going to continue to be attacked because there is a misunderstanding about the position that he has taken. I see this man as somebody who's really making an effort to make things better and to make the conversation a little more of a fair conversation. It's just asking everybody to come to the table. And it's highlighting atrocities, and it's highlighting things that are bad, because sometimes you got to call evil evil. And he has done that. He's been attacked for those things over and over again. But I'm inviting for everybody, just be patient with the messages. You just got to be willing to listen to what the other person has to say, right? The case of Ben Shapiro, the case of Jordan Peterson, these are individuals that, if nothing else, you got to find a way to make the time to say, okay, I'm going to sit through the whole video. I'm going to listen to what they have to say truly, and I'm going to listen as if I do have the ability to learn something from this conversation. And I'm going to disagree with the things that I'm going to disagree, because you're entitled to that. That is the beauty of you developing your own position, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to respect you more or less. As a matter of fact, the only way to truly respect somebody at the highest level is to say, you might be wrong, but at least I respect the clarity of your position. You're standing on your own grounds. That takes me to the final individual, which is Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan, it's somebody that has been labeled provocative, that has been, a journalist, commentator. Some people call him a propagandist. This is somebody that when you're watching whatever interview he's doing, even if you don't like the person that he's interviewing, sometimes you feel a little aggravated about the questions or the style of questioning. His ability to always interrupt everybody, to always essentially get a reaction on that interview. I'm going to be very honest with you. I haven't been exactly a fan of Piers Morgan, but I'm going to tell you, I have nothing but respect for the fact that this man right now is interviewing people from both sides of the aisle. As a matter of fact, I don't think there is a single person out there that has taken more people from not only the Jewish community, meaning he already went through the process of interviewing a Ben Shapiro. But let me just give you a few names, you know what I mean? Bassem Youssef, which, to be quite honest with you, a very interesting, very smart guy that unfortunately his way where he approached this conversation was just a little too sarcastic to be able to deliver the message that he wanted to deliver. And I can sense the high level of frustration. Again, the passion that comes from somebody that's saying, here's where I stand, here's what I'm arguing for, here is the suffering that I see. But in the process of doing that, I will say definitely a tough conversation, a tough interview for Piers Morgan. I give him a lot of credit this time around. Piers was the one who was actually exercising a high level of patience throughout the interview. His interview with Ben Shapiro, maybe some people are criticizing that he wasn't critical enough. I believe that he was. I believe that he was, just like as always, pushing the envelope, pushing some buttons, asking some tough questions. Hassan Avi, this is a guy that has probably at some point, to the tune of 500 million people would be connecting to listening to his message. This is a podcaster that has an incredible following out there, and he decided to say, hey, listen, you calling me out as being a propagandist, and somebody who is a mouthpiece for the other side, for the other group, show me where, tell me proof, tell me. And by the way, just to provide the platform for somebody to come and disagree with you, that's already a big deal, a big issue. And finally, probably one of those difficult interviews. I don't know how anybody can successfully interview somebody whose life mission is to always be ready for difficult interviews, which is Hassan Samlat, which is the UK ambassador, the Palestinian ambassador to UK. And man, that was painful to watch. Very difficult to even have a fair conversation. It's extremely one-sided, and that is literally one of the problems with the issue. But I give him credit because at least he's willing to get people in front of everybody, and then people hopefully will do additional research to say, okay, you're making the statement about what happened with the hospital. You're saying that as an official representative, you have information that says otherwise, that it was not, because obviously the first thing was that it was done as a direct attack from the state of Israel. That it was the situation with the hospital was generated and was triggered by the state of Israel, and then through intelligence that I'm sure the state of Israel and the IDF was not literally crazy to disclose. They have no choice but to show some internal conversations, some very specific information that was being said about, as something that potentially was a mistake that triggered that incident, that horrible situation where then talking about more innocent people dying, especially in a place like a hospital, which is the last thing. They were very specific describing, the cemetery that is connected to the hospital, and from there. So that's very detailed information. You can make up your mind and decide what really happened there. But even at that point, after these disclaimers were done, the ambassador was not willing to, accept the possibility that there was a mistake that happened from inside Gaza, opposed to something that came from the state of Israel. So I give you, Piers Morgan, a lot of credit for being willing to bring a lot of people. I'm inviting everybody to pay attention to these three players of the week. These are very strong, valuable voices, people that have great influence on the communication, the discussion that's taking place out there. And hopefully this gives you a better idea as to why it will make it a good idea. Listen to what they have to say, get connected to them a little better. We're going to continue to do this to highlight people from every side of the aisle, whether it's financial, political, or even religious, because players, when we're highlighting a player of the week, is somebody that's really making a difference. Some people may like them, some people may find it to be controversial, but they need to be highlighted because they are not only part of the conversation, but are in many ways carrying the nature, the direction of the conversation. That makes them credible players, individual players. So with that being said, guys, I cannot wait to make sure that we go into the next rotation. And even if we call him player of the week, don't be surprised if we do multiple videos connected to, because there's so many people that truly, truly need to be highlighted. We wanted to open the first one highlighting Ben Shapiro, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, and Piers Morgan. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you get the chance to connect to these people, see if you agree or disagree with those perspectives. If there's anybody that you would like us to highlight, please let us know. You know what I mean? Send us a few names. Make sure you're included into your commentary. Who would you like us to highlight, so that people can get to know them a little better, get also connect with them. We want to make sure that as a daily crossing, where we're going to have an exchange of ideas, we're going to have an exchange of people opinions. We don't want to try to constantly interpret what the person is saying for you. We want to give you the opportunity to also send traffic one way or the other, so that people have the ability to communicate with them. So who would you like us to highlight for the next video? I'm dying to see. Would love to see your recommendations for that one, right? So I appreciate you being connected with us today. Until the next one, and we thank you for always being with us throughout this beautiful journey. Right? Thank you.